Okay, and we're back. So this is part 2 of chat number 141, and it was titled Live Your Why. So hopefully everyone who is watching with us here live, y'all are going to hang around for this extra credit portion. And if you are just joining us, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg, or if you're watching this later on Facebook, which you can, then hello Carla. Or if you're just joining us, like Carla is, she is just now joining us, then we have been talking about our whys and the 30 days of why. And so you'll have to go back and watch what your homework was. But this is part 2 of chat number 141. Today's date is September the 29th. And for our extra credit today, we're going to talk about fasting. So this is probably the most intertwining discussion that I have heard amongst other members, amongst other WW members, I don't know, for the last few months. So last year, keto was all anybody was talking about. So everybody just wanted to talk about keto. That's all they were talking about. This year it's been, or at least this second half of the year, it has been fasting. So we have a person in our physical workshop who is doing intermittent fasting, and I'll tell you all what kind she's doing and what kind of success she's having with it. There are several different kinds of fasting, and there's no way that I have listed them all. But we're just going to go over that for the next 30 minutes or for the next 27 minutes because I've already babbled for 3 minutes. So fasting, pro, con, by the time we're done, don't know if we're going to decide if it's good, if it's bad, and who it's for and who it's not for. Okay. There are lots of reasons to fast. So fasting is pretty much just, I'm just going to give you my definition of it. So fasting is just removing something from your diet for whatever reason for a time period. So it could be a food, it could be a food group, it could be one thing, it could be many things, but you are, and Cheryl says they claim fasting is a big part of keto. Maybe. Well, Warren is here from South Africa. Woo, hello, how are you? But fasting, there's lots of reasons to do it. So it's basically, like holding something back from your diet. Like holding something back from your diet, again, for a period of time. So the period of time might be one day, it might be a week, it might be, for a longer period of time. And it's going to depend on why you're doing it, as to how long you're going to be doing this fasting. So you could do it like before a test, like if you're going to have, like if you're having a colonoscopy or something like that, you're fasting because you can't have anything on your stomach, before the test. If you're getting a blood glucose test, you're fasting. So everyone who is checking their sugar in the, the next morning, you are fasting. Because you're not going to get up in the middle of the night unless your sugar drops too low. So you take your sugar, it's a fasting blood sugar, the next morning. You could be doing it for a food or ingredient elimination. So, like if you're trying to decide, like if you're allergic to a food, or if something is, like if you have a sensitivity or an intolerance, like maybe gluten or something like that, you might eliminate a food or ingredient, elimination, just for that. It could be for religious reasons. Some religions you fast for certain periods of time, or you fast as part of prayer and meditation, or you fast for certain periods, like certain holy time periods. You might fast for that. Some people fast during meditation. They fast for that because it's supposed to give you more, like keep your mind off of food, because sometimes, when people are meditating, they don't, you don't want to, be thinking about something else. So it helps you take your mind off of that. Or some people fast to like reset. I know people who fast after holidays or after an overindulgence. So I have, I have people, I know people who do it, who do some form of fasting as a reset. Like if you just like overindulged on, I'll just pick sugar. Well, because this one person in particular, if they've eaten way too much, and Lisa, we're going to talk about that in a second. So, and we're going to talk about different types of fasting so that you don't, Lisa says it sets her up for a binge episode. We are going to talk about that. So please do not think I'm condoning fasting yet. or at all. I'm telling you what the different kinds are, because I have heard too many people just say fasting means not eating. That's not what it means. Fasting does not mean not eating. It could mean not eating, but it's just like let's see, I'll just use this example, and I know it drives my friends and family crazy when I do it, but let's see, all cockapoos are dogs, but not all dogs are cockapoos, if that makes sense. So all women are humans, but not all humans are women. So fasting, some forms of food with removal are fasting, but not all fasting is food removal. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what was I saying? Anyway, this one person, when they've eaten too much sugar, or like when they've, there's, like over Christmas, they, apparently what their family eats is just like heavy laden with sugar, heavy laden with carbs, and they just feel sluggish and slow in other areas, if you know what I mean. And so they do a white flour, white sugar fast, so they don't consume any processed flours, any processed sugar, any processed, any of that stuff. So they're doing it, it's more like a cleanse at that point, but they are fasting because they were withholding that particular food group for that period of time. So that's what I'm saying a fast is. Okay. So there are different types of fasting. So here's where I need y'all to listen. Okay. So there are different types of fasting. One type of fasting is just, I call it omission. It's just omission. You're eliminating one food or a type of food from your diet for a certain period of time. That would be the one that you would use like for testing, or like to cleanse, after this big holiday, meal or whatever. So you might hold, a food. So you might fast, and hold a food. I have a friend who will, she doesn't eat meat, for so many days out of the week. And it's not because she doesn't, it's not because she doesn't like meat, and it's not because she doesn't, enjoy it, whatever. But she withholds it from her diet for a certain number of days a week. So she is fasting, from meat. Some Lent, is a form of fasting, because you're withholding from that, or abstaining from that, or whatever, for a certain period of time. So omission would be just eliminating one food or a type of food for a certain period of time. There is another form of fasting called a 5-2 diet. And a 5-2 diet means that you eat normally for 5 days. So you would eat your normal number of points, whatever, for 5 days, and then you would restrict yourself for 2 days. So restricting, might mean, so you might use all of your points, for 5 days, and then you might restrict yourself to just your dailies, or try to stick, not use all of your dailies, for those 2 days. And remember, I'm not condoning any of these or saying that any of these are good. Please listen all the way through, because we've got a lot more to talk about before you make any, form any opinions about it. But 5-2 means you're eating normally for 5 days, and then you are reducing that amount for 2 days. So you're restricting it. So you're omitting or withholding, some amount of food, for 2 days. So notice that one didn't say you don't eat for 2 days. So too many people think fasting means you are not putting anything in your mouth for some period of time. Okay, that's not necessarily what it means. So this one isn't no food for 2 days. It's reduced food or reduced calories, or in our case for WW, it would be reduced points, for 2 days. Okay, this one, the girl that's in our group, that is, Teresa says sugar makes her finger joints swell and hurt. So that might be a good one to, omit for a little while. Or maybe you could do the 5-2 and do 5 and then 2 days omit it, let your body kind of rest. Okay, the girl in our physical group who is doing intermittent fasting, she is doing this one. She's doing 16-8. So this is, so she's doing 16-8. So there are 16 plus 8 equals, anybody? 24. So this one all has to do with a 1 day, one time around the sun. Yeah, one time around the sun, 1 day. So what she does is for 16 hours a day, she's not eating. So this form of fasting does include not eating for some period of time, but it's only not eating for 16 hours. So you're asleep some amount of of those hours. So she doesn't eat anything for 16 hours, and then all of her points that she's going to consume for the day, she eats that within, yes, and Orlando Debbie is exactly right. So anything that she's going to eat, she eats it within whatever point she's going to use that day. She eats them within those 8 hours. And if she does not, I hate to say it this way, but if she does not consume all of her points within those 8 hours, she's not getting up at 9 or 10, the hour 9 or the hour 10 or whatever. Also on the 16-8, it does not matter what time it is. So, you don't have to say that your 8 hours, is from 8 in the morning until, what would that be, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, until 4. So you could start at 9 until, that'd be 6. So you can make your 8 hours whenever you want to make it. So, like for me, if I were going to do 16-8, I would probably pick my 8 to be later in the day, so that it's periods of time when I'm at home and not at work, because it would be much easier for me to not eat while I'm at work. I'm not saying not to eat. I'm just telling you what the different kinds of fasting are right now. So just hold with me. But that's what she does. So she does not eat anything for 18 hours, and then she has her 8 hours. And she can move her 8 hours, so she doesn't have to make it the exact same 8 hours every single day. She just is only, fitting her food in for that. And for all of these, water is still fine, in the time period, in the other time period, when you're fasting, even if the fasting doesn't mean withholding all food, water's okay. I think coffee's okay. Unsweetened beverages, I think are going to be okay. Not like juice, but like, like unsweet tea, something like that, it's going to be okay, during that. We're just talking about food right now. Okay. Then there's one that's called Eat, Stop, Eat. So you do a 24-hour fast 1 to 2 times per week. So 1 to 2 times per week, you would stop eating. So this one does mean no eating. So you would fast for 24 hours. So like when you had breakfast one day, if it was your stop day, then you would eat your breakfast that day, and then you would not eat again until after breakfast the next day, or lunch to lunch, or dinner to dinner. So in that one, you do have a whole 24 hours, 1 to 2 times a week where you're not eating, but it's called stop, eat, stop. And so you stop eating for 24 hours, you eat, and then you pick another one and stop eating for 24 hours, and then you eat, if that makes any sense. Okay, then there's an alternate day fasting where you fast every other day. That seems like a lot to me, but you fast every other day. So you can eat small amounts. So it doesn't mean you're not eating anything though. You can eat small amounts of raw fruits and vegetables during the day, and then you eat your bigger meal at night. Okay, so when you just say alternate day and you fast every other day, my brain, even though I've been sitting here doing all this research this weekend, my brain still makes me think fasting means you're not eating. But listen to this one, so I immediately said, gosh, that seems like a lot to me. This one though, you eat small amounts of raw fruits and vegetables, so not cooked, but raw fruits and vegetables during the day, and then you eat your bigger meal at night. So that one's called alternate day. So every other day you're going to do that. What does that sound like? What does that sound like to some of you? Does it sound like maybe that you're just eating your 0 point fruits and vegetables, during the day, and then having a bigger meal at night every other day? I could maybe do that one. I could probably do that one. But that one's called alternate day. You fast every other day and eat small amounts of raw fruits and vegetables during the day, and then your bigger meal at night. And when it says bigger meal, it does not say sit down with bacon and eggs, biscuits and gravy, and just shovel it in as fast as you can. That is not what it says. None of these say when it's time to eat that you're binge eating, okay? So we're going to talk about that too in just a second. Okay, let me breathe for just a second. I've been talking fast. Okay, the next one is spontaneous meal skipping. So spontaneous meal skipping means that you're just going to spontaneously skip a meal. So I accidentally do that at work all the time. If I get to work and we get busy, we have lots of customers, and I'm going, sometimes I accidentally skip a meal. So that would be spontaneous fasting. When you skip a meal. Sometimes people will do it. Somebody up here earlier said they do that right before weigh-in. So they purposefully skip a meal right before weigh-in on weigh-in day. So that would be spontaneous fasting or spontaneous spontaneous fasting. And Loretta says, I would think it's fasting between meals. Technically, yeah. Loretta says she stops eating at 7 in the evening and her first meal is at 9. So that would be, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so that's like 14. So you're right in there. So you're doing like the 10, 14 fasting. So that could work too. Okay. Then I'm going to say, I have done this before. I have done reverse fasting, which, instead of actually fasting, I have done reverse fasting where I have stayed on track, like stayed within my points, every day for 13 days. And then on the 14th day, use all of my points that day and use all of my weeklies from that 1 week, not from the week before. I still never use my fit points, but I do that, because then my body, so it's like I'm not really fasting, for the 13 days, but it's reverse fasting. So I'm not using any extra, and I don't do it all the time, but so it's like I'm not using all of my points, for 13 days. And then on the 14th day, I use all my points for that day and all of the weeklies for that week, not the prior week, not the first 7 days, because that kind of, I don't know, that kind of kicks my, sometimes if my, if like I'm sluggish, if I just can't, can't get anywhere, it kind of kicks my system in. Okay, so let me say what this is not good for. So this is not good for anybody who has a history of eating disorders. So if you have had, or if you feel like you have, or especially if you are diagnosed with any kind of an eating disorder, so anybody that's gonna have real binge issues, anybody who's got anybody that's, especially if you've had a diagnosed eating disorder, please do not try anything like this unless you have consulted, a doctor, because this really could, if you already have these kind of tendencies, there is nothing wrong with you. First of all, we all have weird tendencies to do weird things. If yours just happens to be an eating disorder, mine's something else, or somebody else's is something else. But I just want you to be careful, though, because I do not want you to accidentally kick yourself, into a bad spot, by trying out something like this without getting the advice of your physician. It is not good for people that have metabolic or digestive issues. Again, unless you are instructed by your doctor. If you have blood sugar issues, please do not start fasting without your doctor's advice and then go, I don't know what happened, Kelly. My sugar was like 40 when I got up this morning. Please don't do that. Please don't. Consult your physician if you have any issues like that, metabolic disorders, digestive issues. We do not want to mess your tummy up. We do not, if you've worked really hard to get your gut back in order, we don't want to mess it up. But for those of you, on the other hand, who have a sluggish gut, if you know what I mean, if you got a little bit of slowdowns, going on there, some form of intermittent fasting, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it can kind of shake things up and get them moving again, if you know what I mean. Just drink plenty of water. Okay, it is not, no. Nowhere in any of this does it say anything about binge eating or going crazy on the times. See, thinks I'm not standing up because I don't have my arm down. Let me get my last hour. But it says nothing about going crazy. So I did a diet years ago. I don't remember if it was before. No, it had to have been after WW. So it was one of the times that I had decided, Weight Watchers is not working for me. I'm not losing weight fast enough. So I went on a diet where I don't remember what you ate, like all day long you didn't eat. I don't think you ate any meat. I'm trying to think now. I don't think you must have eaten any meat. Whatever it was really, really restrictive all day long. And then you had 1 hour to eat whatever you could. You would be shocked if you could see what I can stick in here in an hour. I mean, I'm sure it looked like a hot dog eating contest or something. But yeah, I lost a little bit of weight just because you were doing something different, and and whatever I lost, it came off really fast. But as soon as I started eating like a normal person again, after my stomach was all upset and after I was, I don't know, just messed up, from this. So, did y'all hear that? Okay, so look, I just got my goal, my standing goal. So, yep, stand goal achieved. Okay, so I get my Bravo sticker from last week. But anyway, but it says, but don't do that. Do not binge eat or or go crazy, if you choose to do any of these. And then yes, always consult a doctor if you're gonna do anything that's way outside of your norm. And yes, still track. So I'm gonna say still track, which I know some of you were thinking, oh, if I do 5-2 or 16-8, I'm not gonna have to track anything. Please still track. A, because you still need to know what you consumed. B, we're still on WW. If you're here with me for WW, that's what we're on. C, if it does work for you, you're going to want to remember what you did. If you're like me, you might do great. If you do 16-8 for 2 weeks, and you do great and you're feeling good, and whatever, and then you get off of it for 2 weeks and then you think, oh, what was that thing that I did a couple of weeks ago? And you're not going to remember, so please still track. I do want to say this. At this time, there is not enough research on any of these topics. There's not enough research for WW to advocate this. Now, I am not a WW leader. I am not employed by WW, but right now, there's not enough. There's just not enough research for WW to jump on this bandwagon today. So today is September the 29th. I'm not telling you. And Maria, we'll go back to that. I am not intermittent fasting at this moment, but we will talk about which ones I have done and how they have worked for me. But as everyone already knows, there are changes. There are minor changes, minor tweaks. Every year, and there are a little bit more tweaks every other year. Well, this is the every otherth year, so there will be some minor changes. But as research develops and as they kind of get a handle on this, if WW decides that some form of intermittent fasting is a good idea for us, I'm sure they'll introduce it in some way. But for right now, they are not, backing this. So just keep that in mind. But they're constantly striving for ways to help make us healthier, better, faster, stronger, like the bionic men and women. So, if they find new research, or if they, find one of these paths, if it looks better than others, for us, for our overall well-being, they may look at introducing something like that. That does not mean they're introducing it, though. So please don't tell them, Kelly said, hey, Oprah, Kelly said y'all are going to start doing intermittent fasting. Okay. And yeah, and Loretta said maybe bread will be 0 points. Yeah, I don't think any of us need that to happen. Okay. Also, it does not mean it's a free-for-all when you're done fasting. So, whatever the non-fasting time is, it does not mean that it's a free-for-all. So there's nothing in here that says eat a bundt cake or, eat a loaf of bread or, whatever when you get off. And all of them that I researched, hello, Starlet, all of them that I researched show that while you are in the fasting portion, that water, coffee, and non-caloric beverages are okay. So that seemed to be true in all of them. So let's talk about real quick, because it is 6 till, let's talk about which ones I have done and what the success was. So omission, I have done omission fasting for testing. I have done omission fasting when I just didn't feel good, like when I feel bloated or, or feel sluggish or whatever. Then, yes, I'm sorry, black coffee. I meant to say that. Sorry, Jackie just reminded me. Water, black coffee. No sugar or creamer in it. So water, black coffee, or non-caloric beverages. Okay. So I have done omission fasting normally for when I feel sluggish, or if I'm just really really run down. I will omit certain things, and for me, the omission is going to be like the processed breads and the processed carbs. So back over the falls, and if you know what I'm talking about, you get an extra Bravo sticker. But by way back in the day, when, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Don't remember what I was going to say. It's something to do with omission fasting. I don't know. Maybe I'll circle back around to it. Anyway, way back in the day, something. Okay, so the 5-2 diet, I have done that sort of. So I didn't really do it on, on the 5-2. It wasn't, 5 normal days and 2 restrictive days. I have done that sort of when we go to Disney. We have 2 on-plan meals and 1 off plan meals. So it's 2 on, 1 off. So it's not really 5-2, but it's like a 2-1. You know, the ratio is 2 to 1. So we eat 2 on and 1 off so that we can have the 1 off, and so that, you know, so my tummy, you know, doesn't get as upset, doesn't get as bloated and everything. The 16-8 diet, I personally have not intentionally done that. So I know people who have, and I know, and great. So Starlet, are you new? Are you new? Because we would love to say hi to you if you were new. Your name, I'm sure if I had seen your name before, surely I would have remembered it. But so the 16-8 diet, I personally have not intentionally done it. And when I say intentionally, I mean there are days that I have skipped breakfast, thought, oh, you know, I'll grab a, you know, hard-boiled egg or something at work, get to work, get busy, don't get going. You know, there have been days that I've accidentally done it, but not intentionally. And I will say this too, if you're not intentional about it, you know, you can, I don't know, I have a tendency to kind of go berserk, you know, if I have an accidental fasting day, just because then I get home and I go, I didn't get to eat, and everybody else got to eat, and everybody else went to McDonald's, you know, and whatever. And then, you know, and then I eat too much. But so I haven't done the 16-8. My mom used to have a lady working for her that she stopped eating every single day. She stopped eating at 5 o'clock. So whatever she was going to eat for the day, you know, and she wasn't measuring it and she wasn't doing proportions. She was not doing Weight Watchers, but she stopped eating at 5 o'clock. It was 5 or 5:30 every single day. This lady was this big around. Okay, that big around. So she didn't start eating until like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then she stopped eating at 5:30 every single day, and she was tiny. But you know what? She didn't obsess over it. She didn't go, oh my gosh, I have to eat all of this food before 5:30. She was just like, meh. You know, oh, I wanted a cookie. Or she would get chicken salad sandwiches from the little place that was behind my mom's shop all the time. But she would get them. And they were little tea sandwiches, you know. And she would eat, like, it was a little half of a chicken salad sandwich, that, you know, and a little handful of chips, you know, and maybe a cookie, maybe like a thumbprint cookie. But you know what? Because she knew she was going to be, that was her last meal for the day, and she was going to be ending her meals at 5:30, she didn't make a big deal about it. She didn't get real, you know, whatever. She didn't get, oh yeah, and Barbara, the Daniel fast, that's a perfect example. That is a perfect example of a fast where you just omit some foods, of an omission diet without not eliminating all food. So again, fasting doesn't have to mean, we have 1 minute. Fasting does not have to mean that you have not eaten all day long for days and days and days. It might mean that, but it doesn't have to mean that. But the Daniel diet is a perfect example of omitting some foods. And again, you know, you can use it to cleanse your system. You can use it just to get back on track. You can use it to, you know, meditate. So you're not thinking about food, you know, you're thinking about your, you know, something else. But the other one, that I have done when I talked about the reverse fasting, you know, again, I don't binge the 13 days, but I think it really can work. So I think if you choose something, you don't have to, but if you want to try something like this, first enter into it cautiously. Second, if you already have, excuse me, if you already have any form of medical issue, or if there's any question, you know, about your diet or your, you know, your health situation, please consult a doctor before you do this. Don't go into any of these thinking, I'm doing this for the rest of my life, because, you know, it's intermittent. Intermittent means sometimes. It means occasionally. It means right now I'm doing it, now I'm not doing it. So it's intermittent. It is not every single day. Teresa says we don't want her hangry. Oh, I believe that. And Wanda says hangry is a real thing. Yeah, exactly. So again, go into it wisely. You know, don't kind of make a plan. Make a plan. Know what you're going to eat when it's time to eat. Still track. Don't go off the charts, you know, when it is time to eat again. You know, research them a little bit. I think I gave you all the names. So there's omission, the 5-2 diet, and it's 5:2, and you can find that just looking at 5-2 diet. The 16-8 diet, the eat, stop, eat diet, the alternate day, and spontaneous meal skipping, and then my version, reverse fasting. Yeah. But remember, the alternate day, that one might be a good one for those of you who used to do Simply Filling, or who like to focus on your 0 point fruits and vegetables. You know, you know, during the day, or especially like if you were getting ready for an event, you know, like a wedding or, you know, a class reunion or something like that. That one might be a really good one because you really could do that one really well. Good night, Susie. You could do that one really well on WW. So, okay, if y'all have any questions about fasting, I will answer them as best as I can in the comments later. Speaking of fasting, it is time for us to eat a little bit. We did have birthday dinner with Accountability Buddy Karen, so it won't be much because we did have a nice turkey burger there. But so if y'all have any questions about fasting, I hope you will ask me, or I hope you will ask your physician, or get the advice of someone else. I would love to hear what you all are doing with this, so please keep commenting. And we're gonna see if we can get Dusty. Dusty! Oh, he's thinking about it. He's stretching. He's stretching. Good night, Kathy. Here we go. Loretta says, sometimes I get so hungry for no reason, it'll last for a few days. Yeah, I know, I understand. And Loretta, that is some of the time when I do the just omission, when I omit some things, it's because I've had too much sugar. So, sometimes when I've had too much sugar, then I literally just can't stop. Like, you know, like I don't know, just start obsessing. Yeah, obsessing is, you know, is what I do. So Wanda, really, for a diabetic, you're going to need to ask your doctor and see if there's any of these, you know, that sound good to them. But I don't see anything wrong with doing the ones that involve still eating. Like still eating, don't completely omit eating, do, you know, that still do eating. I really think the 16-8, you know, might work out well. Just, you might have to, you know, kind of extend it a little bit because you're probably going to have your, you know, your nighttime snack. Just keep in mind, if you know, if your sugar drops too much, you're going to have to eat something. You're going to have to eat something. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all good night. Keep asking your questions, and I will try to get them answered. If you were here for the first part of the chat, do not forget about, yeah, I know, Dusty's like, Mommy, we didn't make any food. You did not make any food, Mommy. What is up with this? But do not forget about your hashtag 30 days of why, because if you do that, if you do 30 days out of the next 32, so September the 30th through October the 31st, if you do 30 days of why, and if you tag me in every single one of them, and hashtag 30 days of why, and you let me know at the end when you've hit your 30th day, let me know. I'm going to go back and count them, then I will send you a t-shirt. So I want you to invest 30 days in you, and I will invest a t-shirt in you. And Janice, you missed the whole thing. You did. Okay, you can always go back and watch it because I'm getting ready to post it. So everybody have a great evening. I will see you next week, and let me know how it goes. See you next week. Oh, if you're watching this later on YouTube, please click here to watch the next video, or you can subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you'll be notified as we post new videos. And you can order a spreadshirt. I say it wrong every time. A spreadshirt over here. So good night, everybody. I hope you have a great week. See you later.